This week, I was very lucky to have my mum visiting. Not only did we get to spend quality time together, but as is tradition, we launched into what I affectionately call a decluttering frenzy. I even wrote about this in my book in a chapter titled Declutter for Superior Sleep, which first featured as my Ask Sharon column in the area news. Now, there's this point mid declutter where the room looks like it's been ransacked, like chaos has swallowed the floor. It's what I call the darkest before the dawn moment of decluttering. I'm sure you know what I mean. It's when everything's been pulled out, it's all in the process of being sorted, and it's waiting to find its rightful place. It's the storm before the calm. And right in the middle of it, Mum becomes the voice of reason. She asks me the golden questions. Do you love it? Do you need it? Does it represent who you are now? Or more importantly, who you want to become? Honestly, it's like therapy wrapped in garbage bags and donation boxes. And every time, it's powerful, liberating. As bag after bag makes its way to the bin or the charity pile, I feel like I'm shedding layers of used to be, might be, no longer me. It's not just stuff, it's stories. And clearing them makes space for that next chapter. It was at that point that I had Dr. Joe Dispenza's words ringing in my head. Now, Dr. Joe Dispenza has 1.4 million followers on YouTube, by the way, so he knows what he's talking about. And he says, a cluttered home creates a cluttered mind, making it challenging to focus and maintain mental clarity. That really resonated with me. And then it got me thinking, what about the mental clutter? What about all the thoughts, ideas, half-finished plans, and the shoulds that take up place and space in our mind? Especially when we've got big dreams like writing a book sitting on the shelf, waiting for us just to take action. That's where this incredibly cool psychological insight comes in. I remembered reading about a psychologist named Bluma Zeigarnik. Try saying that 10 times fast. Who discovered a phenomenon known as Zeigarnik effect. Back in the 1920s, she found that unfinished tasks don't just disappear. They hang out in your brain like little mental tabs open in the background. They cause stress, they eat at your focus, and they steal your creative bandwidth. It seems obvious to us now, living in the age of notifications and never-ending to-do lists, but back then this was cutting-edge stuff. The key principle? Closing loops, even mentally, frees up cognitive space. In other words, unfinished ideas equals mental clutter. And when it comes to writing your book, it's not enough just to have great ideas. You need to give those ideas structure. They need to take shape, and they need to have a place to live. So today's video is here to help you clear mental clutter and unlock that focus that you need, because cognitive tension doesn't just block creativity, it's something you can overcome with a few smart strategies. And we'll get into those in a moment. But first, let's dig into why our minds do this. When you have half-baked concepts, vague outlines, or nagging thoughts like, I should include this in my book, your brain treats them like browser tabs left open overnight. They demand your attention even when you're trying to focus on other things. The Zeigarnik effect shows that unresolved tasks create psychological tension. Now, that tension doesn't just feel like distraction, it can snowball into anxiety, procrastination, or total overwhelm, which, let's be honest, is the exact opposite of what you need when you're writing a transformational nonfiction book that's meant to serve others. But here's the magic. Mental closure unlocks the flow. Even just writing down a plan or shelving an idea with intention clears your space in your mind to sharpen your focus, strengthen your structure, and it makes room for creative brilliance to move in. Here's one idea to carry with you. When you name and shelve an idea properly, you're not letting it die. You're giving it structure so you can actually use it later. There's your drop the mic moment. Now, before we get into my top 5 ways to unclutter your mind so you can organize your book, a warm welcome back to my regular viewers. And if you're new here, I'm so glad you found your way. I'm Sharon Halliday, tuning in from the stunning Batemans Bay on the south coast of New South Wales. With over 35 years of writing experience, I created the Authentic Author Academy channel and Facebook group to share ideas, insights, and practical tools that help you write the book that's really already inside of you. I'm just here to help you make that happen. So let's dig in. My number 1 way to unclutter your mind so you can organize your book is the brain purge, or as I like to call it, drawing from the wisdom well. I covered this in more detail in episode number 2 of Keep Your Book Alive in 5, Drawing from the Wisdom Well, that's you, which I'll include at the end of this video. This approach is all about tapping into those ideas buried beneath the clutter of everyday thoughts. You know, before you organize your book or even organize your mind, you've got to let these ideas pour out of you freely. Essentially, you set a timer for how long you want to write and let that stream of consciousness flow. This is about extracting those ideas from deep within. So here's how you take action. You grab a blank sheet of paper or open a fresh document. You let the ideas spill out. You don't edit, you don't judge. And if you catch yourself thinking that's silly or that won't work, you slam those brakes and picture something like a big red stop sign. That's always worked for me. And then you gently refocus on letting it flow again. So imagine turning on a garden hose, an old one. At first, there might be this sputter and pressure, maybe even a burst of murky water. But once it steadies, the flow becomes clean and clear. And that's how your ideas work too. Keep them flowing and the clarity will keep coming. So you can begin with a prompt. I want to write a book about, and just write from that place. If you find yourself getting into those doubts, or if you need to reset, write, I want to write this book because. Now, your only job here is to release. This is not about refining, not about organizing yet. This is the sorting time comes later. This is just about getting it out of you. Number 2 is create your clarity corner. Your mind mirrors your environment, just like Dr. Joe Dispenza was getting at. If your space is chaotic, your thoughts will be too. That's why a dedicated nook or corner, your clarity corner, can be so transformative. So your action steps are choose a small area for writing or just thinking, and it's just for you. It doesn't have to be fancy, just clean and intentional. Keep it clutter-free and visually calm. Remove all distractions and maybe add in some soothing elements like a candle, a plant, or your favorite notebook. Let the vibe of the corner match your purpose. It can be inspiring, but grounding. Every time you sit down here, your brain will know this is where we focus, and that's powerful. Think of it as your mind's day spa. Even 5 minutes in this space can help you reset your creative energy. Number 3 is thought sorting. Now, this is where you make space for ideas to connect. So imagine if your brain's like a junk drawer. It's full of brilliant bits and pieces, but without a system, it's hard to see where everything fits together. Thought sorting helps lays everything out so you can spot patterns and start to build a structure. So your action steps are start by jotting down key ideas, chapters, or themes. Don't worry about the order yet. You can use branches and bubbles or grids, whatever helps you visualize linkages. You're not just organizing, you're decluttering that creative flow. So then you can start to look for overlaps, gaps, or natural groupings of your ideas that could become sections or chapters of your book. It's the literary version of Marie Kondoing your thoughts, but instead of asking if each idea sparked joy, you're asking, does this idea spark direction? Number 4 is limit inputs. Welcome to reclaiming your mental bandwidth. Your mind isn't a bottomless inbox. It has limits, and constant stimulation clogs those creative pipes. So to unclutter your thoughts, you've got to be intentional about what you allow in. Your action steps are: turn off unnecessary notifications. Even small pings scatter our focus like confetti. Set boundaries around social media. Schedule your scroll time rather than letting it sneak into everything that you're doing. Quit juggling tabs and tasks. Just choose one thing to focus on and protect that space like it's sacred, because it is. When you reduce input overload, you create room for original thought. It's not just about being productive, it's about making space for your own voice to rise above the noise and the clutter. And my final big approach to uncluttering your mind so you can organize your book is an oldie but a goodie. Approach number 5 is meditation or breathwork. Now, this is where you clear the mind through breath or stillness. When your brain feels tangled with all these thoughts, sometimes the most powerful tool is, wait for it, nothing. I know that's hard for a lot of people to hear. I picked up a book the other day, a book on how to rest. The fact that we have to have books on how to rest tells me we're not quite good enough yet at doing just nothing, or maybe we've lost touch with doing just nothing and resting. Now, a few minutes of mindful breathing or meditation can untie mental knots, reset your nervous system, and prepare you for creative depth. Your action steps are: set a timer for 5 minutes with no pressure, no incense required. Sit still, close your eyes, inhale deeply, just focus on that breath through your nose. You can hold it for a count of 4, and then exhale slowly through your mouth and just repeat. When you focus on your breath, it starts to calm all of those thoughts. And it's not about getting to a place where we have no thoughts, because that's not what it's about. It's about just allowing calm and focus on your breath so that you can let distractions come and go like clouds in the sky. There's no judgment. Just keep refocusing on your breath. You'll be so surprised at how this can, just a few minutes of this, even throughout your day, will really reset your nervous system. If you do prefer guidance, there's plenty of meditations and apps out there. You might find a breathwork video that suits your vibe. So this isn't about getting it right. And by the way, there's no such thing when it comes to meditation. It's about giving your mind room to breathe so your thoughts don't have to shout to be heard above all that noise and clutter. Now, remember, this video all started with my decluttering frenzy with my mum when she came to visit. She was ruthless with the pantry and I was ruthless with those thoughts that were swirling around my head. And it's reminded me that clutter isn't just physical. It creeps into our minds and it can clog up that creativity. So an uncluttered mind isn't just peaceful, it's powerful, it's productive. It's the birthplace of your book. So if you do just one thing today, just clear a single surface, pour your thoughts out onto the page, sit in that clarity corner and breathe, your clarity corner that you've created for yourself, and define why your book matters just for you. I'll add the Unclutter Your Mind, Organise Your Book Guide to the resources section of the Facebook group. The link will be in the description. It's free to join as always, and there's free resources for you and your book. I'd love to hear from you. Please share in the comments which one of the 5 approaches resonated with you and which one will you take action on today. So there you have it, folks. Another video to help you make progress with your book and maybe help you with your life. If you found this video useful or valuable in any way, please give it a thumbs up. Share it with your writer friends who might also be keen to make progress on their writing projects. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more writing tips, advice, and strategies to help you get your book out of your head and out of your heart, out into the world where it belongs. Thanks for watching.